Welcome, everybody, to the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought, the conception that we live in a spiritual universe and that God is in us, around us, and for us. Our definition of spirituality that Dr. Holmes gave us, which I like very much, it says spirituality is natural goodness. God is not a person, God is a presence personified in us. Spirituality is not a thing. It is the atmosphere of God's presence, goodness, truth, and beauty. End of quote. It's wonderful to apply that knowledge and that knowing within oneself when you think of yourself as a spiritual being, because you are. You may have a physical body, but that's not going to take away anything from your being a spiritual, existing individuation of God. So today our topic is how to use it. When we say it, what are we talking about? We're talking about the spirit of life in you. We're talking about the presence of God in you. We're talking about the wholeness of God in you. Because all of that is in you, whether you recognize it or not, whether you acknowledge it, whether you say, I don't want it, you can't take it away because that's who you are in essence, an individuation of God. So I would like to begin with some reading also that in addition to what Bob gave us. And it says in the Science of Mind, in the infinite nature of God, all conceivable good is eternally available and ready to flow into human experience. He said, through some cosmic process, this flow of good is activated. And by the way, the good is capitalized. And he wanted to make sure that we understood that that good was not man-made. It is divine. It's divine goodness and or increased by human belief. In other words, through some cosmic process, this flow of good is activated and or increased by human belief, faith, and acceptance. This is often referred to as the continuum of creation. In every area of scientific research today and discovery, there is a common fundamental and very basic concept. That is, there is always something to discover, something to uncover. If that was not true, we would not advance in science. The reason we advance is that science has in it faith. Faith that there is something to uncover, something to discover, and so that drives the next step, the next dig, the next moment of research. In the research and exploration of human consciousness, then, there exists the same basic concepts that there is always something to discover, something to uncover, or else we'd stop reading and the libraries would close. You know, the libraries are there to help us do our research. And the research is the research about self-awareness, about self-realization, about knowing the truth with a big T about yourself. I have identified 4 basic but essential intangible states that exist in successfully applying these principles. 4 basic, essential, intangible states. The first one is persistence or preservation. Persistence. How does that work? Persistence is a ceaseless pursuit to reveal or uncover that which is already there. We talked about science a little minute ago. The next one is feeling or expectancy. Joyful anticipation of something good or some good. The third one is inner knowing. We are dealing with a spiritual principle, the continuum of creation, the creative process. I'm talking about a universal creative process. We are activating that all the time. We are operating in it all the time, conscious of it or not. You and I create the kind of world that we now live in. All right. Faith in the power of the spoken word. The principle of mental equivalence. Something greater than we are that is personified in us. Something greater than we are that is personified in us, dealing with involution and evolution, that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's written in the Bible. That's the definition in the Bible. And Holmes embraced that and included it in his explaining of the principles of science of mind. That can be found in page 38, which Bob read from, and 39. Pages 38 and 39. You see, we are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers. You ever thought of yourself like that? You are a thinking, willing, knowing, conscious center of life. Not just your life. You are a center where God is identified as you. And God lives through you because God's life is the only life you have. No one has been able to create other human life unless you procreate. But creation is the play of life upon itself. So life is there before we showed up in this life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is something flowing through us, a creative something. That's how it works. Call it what you will. The sum total of our thought, of our will, of our purpose and belief creates a tendency in this law with a capital L that causes it to react to us according to the sum total of our belief. That's why it's still done unto you as you believe. It's operative throughout all your thinking. As we think, we believe. As we believe, we manifest. See, ignorance of the law excuses no one from its effects. It's just like if you were driving down the street and you pretend you didn't see a red light. Or you said, I'm ignorant of the red light, it was never there. You're likely to get hit and hit very hard and even die because of the accident. So if then certain specific ways of thought and belief have produced limitation, other beliefs will change them. If we change our thinking, we change our life. In fact, that is a byline of the science of mind. Change your thinking, change your life. Change your thinking, change your life. We must learn to believe. When we believe the truth, it sets us free. If we believe something and we're still not free, we still don't know we're free, we still don't feel that we're free, it is not. That means you are not using the principle. You're using something else someone made up. We must learn to believe. The approach should be direct and it should be specific. When you set goals, you have to be direct and you have to be specific, and then you will have an outcome. If you're not, the law is not given direction. The law is wise, but it's an obedient servant. It knows how to do an infinite number of things, but it will not do specifically for you until you are specific. If you live your life in a random state of consciousness, you will have random experiences of life. That's the way that it works. If then certain specific ways, as I said before, of thoughts, certain specific ways of thought and belief, we produce limitation, other beliefs will change them. We must learn to believe. The approach should be direct and it should be specific. There is no mental coercion in this. We do not will things to be done. Things are brought into being not by will, but by the power of self-assertive truth. Self-assertive truth. How much can I demonstrate? Just what one can believe. I can demonstrate what I can believe. You can demonstrate what you believe, not what you say you believe, but what you truly believe, you will demonstrate. So whatever you're demonstrating is a result of what you have truly believed. Now, it could be something negative in your life that you're experiencing, but you allowed that to come through by the action of the law because that's the orders you gave it. How can I, or how can one demonstrate just what we can believe? How much can we believe? How much can we accept? How much can we find in our consciousness that is no longer repudiated by our own denials? Whatever that is, we must and can have. So whatever that is, it's a mental equivalent when we use our minds that way. We're creating mental equivalents. And a mental equivalent has no resistance in producing something just like itself. A demonstration is the objective life, in the objective life rather, is born out of a mental concept in the subjective consciousness. I'll say that again. A demonstration is the objective life in the objective life. Demonstration in the objective life is born out of a mental concept in the subjective consciousness. The mind is the fashion factor, fashioning factor. The mind fashions it. You're in the fashioning business, fashioning your life according to its range, vision, and outlook. Whatever your range, vision, and outlook is, that's forming, fashioning the life that you now have and the life that is about to unfold for you. Dr. Holmes says, quote, "The range of our possibility at the present time does not extend far beyond the range of our present concept." End of quote. That's on page 282. Something to remember, something to hold on to. So you begin to use your mind, your thought, your thinking. And if you need guidance, that's the science of mind. We're here to teach. We're here to help people. We're here to pray for people to be able to understand that. We're here to give you exercise. So exercise is that the examples that you can create the life you want in goodness and love, as long as it doesn't deny other people, as long as it doesn't block someone else, as long as it doesn't make it harder for other people to get where you have gotten. Because all of us are unique. We're not ever going to be exactly in the same. There are no duplicates. The duplicates are always based within ourselves. We causes something within us to duplicate itself. And so that's a continuation of suffering, a continuation of joy, a continuation of peace. I could go on with that. So Holmes says the range of our possibility at the present time does not extend far beyond the range of our present concept. What's your present concept of yourself? So feeling fired by expectancy, the artist, the sculptor, the builder knows there is something to be revealed. The researcher, the scientist know there must go on and they must keep working. There is an insatiable urge, a sense of expectancy. Something is wanting to be uncovered and revealed. Their search and their reach is moving forward, but must be beyond their grasp. Let your reach be beyond your grasp. One of our famous presidents used that in one of his speeches years ago. I want to repeat a quote I gave you. How then are we to accomplish the desired result? By stating and feeling that our mind knows the truth about the thing we desire to know. In this way, we draw the infinite mind into our mentalities for definite knowledge of some particular good. Page 44 in the Science of Mind, and how to use it. That's how we use this power that is able to bring the kind of life that we desire. So jack up your desire so that it gets a range of higher expectancy. In knowing, we are working with the principle of the continuum. The principle of the continuum. The human is a reenactment of the divine. Each time we hold a vision, we are creating a mental equivalent. Faith, the user of prayer. That's what you use in prayer. Faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Science of mind convinces the mind. When you study science of mind, you convince your mind and increase your faith. That's why we love science of mind, because we don't have to mentally struggle for change, because we can sit and use our mind. You can lie down and use your mind. It doesn't take a lot of physical effort, but it does take mental effort to focus the mind on that which is desirable, happy, joyous, and make yourself a contributing human center for good in this universe. It clarifies the mind, it stimulates and activates creation. The one who wishes to demonstrate, on page 46, Holmes says, the one who wishes to demonstrate some particular good must become conscious of the particular good if he or she is to experience it. Experiences on the tangible level. It is the manifest level. We must announce it. We don't beg for it. It's already there. We must announce it into our life. We must declare it is done. A Course in Miracle talks about the holy instant is in miniature. The holy instant. Heaven sent you from heaven. There is to experience only the attraction of God. It is a miracle's abiding place. You came out of God. You know, you came out of this great creator who has no limits. And yet we feel limited, and yet we feel we can't and can't and can't. We have been brainwashed for years, centuries, on how to fail. What a shame. But we can adjust it. We can fix it. We can fix it. And it doesn't take a lot of physical effort. It does take a desire, a mental equivalent, and it takes prayer. I'm going to read core concept 7, which is one of our core concepts, so that you understand more about science of mind. On the universal side, it says, this is a reciprocal universe. For every visible form, there is an invisible counterpart. Everything in nature tends to equalize itself to keep its balance true. Now, on the human side, it says, human life demonstrates the reciprocal nature of the universe in the laws of attraction, giving, receiving, mental equivalence, doing and being done by, and other such principles. Back to the universal side. This principle is evident in all we see on this planet, in that portion which we can see of the physical universe, and in what we intuitively perceive as true in the spiritual universe. Go to the human side for that. Holmes describes the human outpicturing of this principle of reciprocity as the general law that what we are to the universe will be to us. That what we give out, that we shall receive back. That like attracts like. That whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And that no man escapes the law. On the spiritual side, misuse of universal law is always balanced by some form of disorder or dysfunction. Restoration of alignment with universal law is always balanced by restoration of harmony. On the human side, it says, if I habitually live with thoughts of poverty, failure, loneliness, helplessness, illness, then such conditions tend to manifest in my life. If I habitually live with thoughts of love, compassion, joy, peace, achievement, and abundance, then such conditions tend to manifest in my life. The core concept synopsis is, we believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. That's why we're here this morning. That's why we had the affirmation read here. So I wrote another affirmation just so that I could feel this into my own being. Listen to this. Today I open my mind, I open my heart, and I open my being to the highest possibility of good taking place in me with every breath I take and with every pulse of my being. Today I announce and declare that being made in the image and likeness of the great Creator, my life is an individuation of God. Therefore, that life is indeed my life now. The goodness of that life is goodness in my life. The wholeness of that life is wholeness in my life. The peace in that, the love, and the abundance of that life are wholly in my life. And today, as never before, I claim these divine qualities to be alive in me as me. I am indeed one of the one. And so it is, and so I let it be. Namaste. Thank you very much for listening. I'm so happy you came today. God bless. So close your eyes. And let us together remember that God is present here right now, right where I am, right where everyone is. God is present because God is omnipresent. And God is omnipresent universally in its fullness. God is never broken into pieces, parts, no. God is omnipresent, 100%. That means everywhere at the same time in the same amount. So let us remember that God is present right where I am. And that God is love, unconditional love. And that is present right where I am. God is life, and God is aliveness. There is nothing in God that is dead or dying or lessening or used up. God is 100% aliveness. And God is peace, crystal clarity, joy unspeakable. All of these great, wonderful qualities that we have written about, written songs about, talked about for years. The beauty. God is all of that and so much more. And I am made in the image and likeness of that one. I'm so grateful to know that, because that allows me to embrace the power of my oneness with God, of my oneness of God. And being able to embrace the qualities of God into my life, I can now allow my mind to open to its infinite wisdom to guide me, its clarity to purify my thoughts, to be able to focus my intentions. All of this comes so freely that sometimes we doubt it. I convince myself now, today, this moment, that what I am is a divine presence, a center where God manifests itself. I am a manifestation of God, an individuation of God. And I know this is true for everybody, especially those who are listening, those who are participating in this, because their awareness makes it more so. The more we are aware of it, the more we experience it. And I declare that all of us now, as we bring into this prayer the desire of our heart, the desire that is burning inside that wants to manifest, I declare that each of us now can and will be able to manifest our desire, as long as we are able to allow that focus to come into that power of creation that causes something to come forward in manifestation. I am so thankful for this process, so thankful for this teaching that helps us to understand how and why prayer works. There is no magic. There is a system. There's a principle. It is understandable. And I give thanks for the clarity that has come through all these years of study and preparation. I'm thankful for Dr. Holmes, who came and left us with this wonderful thing called the science of mind, the science of thinking, the science of using the mind for our good, for the benefit of all in the world, for a world that works for everyone. I'm so grateful. I bless this moment, and every word, every question, every thought that is compatible with truth, beauty, love, and abundance. I know that all is well. I release these words into the action of that law that knows how to bring it to pass. I'm grateful, I'm thankful. I happily release it to this wonderful, incredible, immutable law that knows how to make it happen. And so it is. Amen and amen. Thank you all. Ah, well, that was wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Yes,
I'm
it
glad
was.
that you guys came and stayed through the whole thing.